This is called Do It for Johnny. I wish poetry had gangs, black satin jackets with New York school stitched above a cheap press-on panther. Rumble tonight with Black Mountain. The big ones square off, circle, decide to take each other. Another inked-up greaser vaults over the fence one-handed. Ain't nobody starts a rumble without deep image. I am puny, but fight anyway. Embarrassed how fists turn to handshakes fast as a knockout. The young ones want blood, and I stop to jot that down when a blow barrels me flat. A fellow nobody with the same idea, southpaw. I'm a good sport until I see his jacket, Southern Gothic New Formalist, Atlanta chapter. I jab at his kidneys, snarling filthy soch into his ascot while he yelps a blue streak in rhyme. My gang and me don't have any jackets. We hunch in subterranean dungarees, penning the nouveau, old-school, mustache-twirling manifesto on exploding Midwest adjectives. We've got a Commodore 64 with no printer and a poster of futurism crashing its car. All to shake off or live up to the raps of our older brothers. Watch sunsets from the west side, east side too. This is called Requiem for Toledo Boys. My city yawns viaduct after viaduct. Sally, will you marry me? Sprayed askew above the Cars Canal. Crumbling but quaint, like Europe with oil stains and a cement lid of sky. Surly as Detroit's punk little brother headed to juvie on a crosstown bus for stink bombing the industrial arts room. This boy's eyes of scrap metal crazier than his small fists belie. Old T-Town factory boys swore over beers, cards, or the rosary. They dropped the skis from their names so as not to seem too Polish as they breathed in glass dust by the lungful. My city holds them or lets them go. Even that J.D. scratch in denim will swap his weed for high life, quit it with the pills and learn to drink strong and fast so the last inch is cold as the first. He'll press ahead, cool to the shop class vice, dreaming UAW pensions and some sunshine to make him forget it takes something much faster than a pickup truck to outrun all this gray. This is called Why I Like Brawny Men. Apple Avenue's only three-girl vaudeville, me, Jenny, Chrissy, skinny arms flung round each other as we step-kicked it barefoot in the tall grass of our stage, quagmire of junk weed, that city green near yellow. Summer saw our flip-flops flung on porches, the dirt on feet became callous, hard sheen, almost clean. We swung out farther, our limb-addled dance of girl sexy suspended when a chunk of glass bit into the soft of my arch. Blood trailed purple back to pavement, sending Roger bounding out of his divorce affordable fixer-upper to my aid. He was 30, maybe, a strapping 70s version of Pa Ingalls with sideburns cut like fins that begged to test our girlness. No accident we were playing in front of his house, all sparkle and indifference. One big move and he scooped me into a swift curl, my foot drilling, heart beating an operatic systole at the sudden flex of his arms, one different and other manly beneath my knee, another thick under my neck. I went soft and bright from here to eternity, pouting for a kiss when he plunked me on the trunk of his Buick, shucked off his t-shirt, and wound it over the cut. I forgot about the glass lodged like a dull diamond in the butter of my foot. It was the way he whipped off that shirt. Anyone else would have run for a towel. And there were my brown legs on his hot Buick, water from the hose, pellucid but for a pink strain of mingled blood, smarting at the gash, then numb. He called me sweetheart, and I leaned into the smooth of his shoulder, wanting that name forever. This is called Persephone, the true Hollywood story. Whelped on oversexed Olympus and bored with the burgeoning meadow, she thumbed that chariot with teen goddess aplomb. Sick of playing skipper to mom's corn orgy Barbie, she'd roll her eyes at the naked slaves and pots of ambrosia, slam her door on Demeter's divine knack for nags. I want you at that fertility rite by midnight, and wear the deerskin mini from Artemis. Enter Hades, underworld bad boy. Misunderstood, his hair in raw-hided dreads, how he'd sway to the Hellenic version of Leonard Cohen humming on an onyx turntable. Charon kept the crystal flowing, Cerberus weeded out posers and paparazzi. Girls from the sunny side are always hell-bent on bad. Friends said it was both love and thrill-seeking ennui when he plucked her out of the ancient basket of agri-worship into his own dark heart. Persephone knew her mother would winter, eventually prevail in bending her to the sunlit task of inspiring the earth's copulation. She ate that pomegranate on purpose, and how. This is called Wine Isle Vignette. You wish you knew what the wind and dirt smelled of that year, how each grape hung with the heavy promise of picking. A farmer hunkers down in a bruised field of sunlight, spit polishes a grape before biting into his labor. You can almost be sure that he has a daughter, a wild beauty, the kind who embarrass you into staring on the train or in a market. She is a girl still, but growing aware of each angular knee as she rides on the backs of boys' scooters, tilts her olive neck into the sun and dust. She thinks of a bell-voiced boy, his fingers stained like hers. That the mother is dead, you know for certain. Look, the farmer in a mint-choked cemetery is bent the way men are when they fail to tent a flame with their hands, and out it goes. He stamps each foot, his head down against the wind, like a horse losing sight of the barn for all the snow. Such a snow has thicked up outside the store window, where inside you too are bent in a numb baptism of choosing. The sleeping sickness came, and he slow caved in time. His sketchbook open on what he'd conjured from feet and feathers, a calloused big digit, every suck and pulse of organs dreaming the factory of their endless forming, helpless and protean. Each carpet and corner of his house agreed. What is progress but a reason not to hate ourselves? Isn't every morning unfinished till noon? He avoided the townsfolk and their fumbling layman science, how they'd mistake the aphid's sweet excretion to the ant for altruism, how they'd assume that shoulder blades were stunted wing stumps, but forget to ask, were we once angels, or one day will we be? He knew, finally, the snip string's purpose, to tell us when we're done, not ready, not yet perfect, but home. This is called a dye job for Dad. The package claims just for men. Its bearded man's man exudes the non-cosmetic masculinity of ski instructors and boat captains. No warm copper peony or even a works with your own tones and highlights. Certainly, my dad will not spin in his chair, chin out, shoulders back, exclaiming, "And I'm worth it." Instead, he's draped in an old towel and shooting wary glances at both me and the dubious-smelling potion I mix with a combination of glee and disbelief that he's agreed to my offhand Sunday project suggestion of tinting his beard from snow to chocolate, that is, natural medium brown. I take my mom's in-house haircut stance, face serious, even breaths, fingers grip his chin steady while I scrape on the paste, his ears big and red and close. Even as I know I'll take this from him, I want it to be our story, a boastful goof like big fishtails, but with a tiny tackle of gloves and brushes. I'm unprepared for the viscous beard when it emerges, too dark on his ruddy face, a study of contrasts, new.